Hello, hello, hello everyone. How's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for joining me. This is Dr. Nicole Edwards, your board certified family medicine physician, the CEO and founder of Abundant Life Concierge Medicine, Abundantly Natural, and Abundant CMP. We are here for our weekly episode of Talk with the Doc. So thank you guys for joining me. Please click like, share, and follow on all on all our social media platforms at Dr. Nicole D.O. That is DrNicoleDO. Again, please click like, share, and follow. So thank you guys so much again for joining me. It is May. We are wrapping up Mental Health Awareness Month. So thank you guys for joining me all month long. We've talked about different mental health conditions and how they are affected by how mental health conditions can cause other medical conditions. And so we are going to wrap that up this month. We've talked about how, just in general, about mental health, things like depression, anxiety, insomnia, okay? And we've talked about other medical conditions that it can cause, such as acid reflux, migraine headaches. We've talked about insomnia. Well, today we're going to talk about sleep apnea, right? How is mental health disease and conditions affected, how does it affect sleep apnea? We're going to tell you all about what sleep apnea is, how it can affect your life, and what you can do to help. All right. It is also Memorial Day weekend, so thank you guys so much again for joining me on Memorial Day weekend. So I do want to stop for just a few moments and just give you guys some history and some information about Memorial Day and what it is. I know a lot of people enjoy the 3-day, sometimes in some people a 4-day weekend. They get this extra day off. But some people don't quite understand what Memorial Day is. So Memorial Day was started to honor soldiers who have been lost in actual battle. So there's a difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Veterans Day is where we pay homage and honor to all veterans, anybody who has served in the armed forces. However, Memorial Day is where we actually honor those who have fallen in battle. All right, so we're going to just take one quick moment here and just a moment of silence to remember all of those. There's the saying that says that all gave some, but some gave all. So we're going to just take a moment of silence to remember all whose lives were lost in battle on Memorial Day. All right, so we never want to look at Memorial Day as just another day to have a cookout or just a day to hang out with our friends or just an extra 3-day weekend, but we want to remember why. First of all, we are free because of those who gave their lives for our freedoms, those who went to war and served in our armed services and gave their lives for us and our freedom. So we thank you for the sacrifice, the major sacrifice that they all gave. And we also want to pay homage and give honor to the families who are left behind, who are grieving today because of the loss of their loved ones for our country. So we are standing with you all today in remembrance of your family members who gave their lives for our countries. And we thank them, of course, in their memory, and we say thank you to you. All right, so again, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We've been discussing all things mental health awareness. All right, and so if you are dealing with a mental health condition, we encourage you all to go and get help, to get seen, whether that's by your family doctor, whether it's by a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist. And there are so many ways that you can seek help now. We have online services. There are all kinds of services that where you can get therapy or treatment or help for your mental health conditions. I'm so glad that mental health in general has become a more accepted conditions, and so it doesn't have as much stigma as it used to in the past, especially in the African American community, especially in the Christian or the church community. We know that a long time ago we used to try to pray away or say that you weren't praying hard enough, or just give it to God. But now we are coming into more awareness and more understanding that mental health conditions are not something that we can just pray away. It doesn't mean that something is wrong, okay? It's we have to look at mental health conditions the same way that we look at Our physical health conditions such as diabetes and heart disease and hypertension. A lot of times with mental health conditions, it is there are chemicals in the brain that can be the levels can be off, okay, so or out of balance. Okay, might have a lack of serotonin or a lack of dopamine, or maybe too much serotonin, maybe too much epinephrine. All right, so these are things that can cause mental health conditions, and so we don't have the stigma, thankfully, as much as we used to. And especially with COVID-19, we know that a lot of people dealt with mental health conditions, and so it became more of the norm for people to reach out and get help. All right, so all along we've talked about what other medical conditions or other conditions can be impacted by our mental health conditions. Again, we talked about acid reflux, we've talked about irritable bowel disease or problems with your colon and digesting of food. We've talked about migraine headaches. We've talked about insomnia. All right, so today we're going to talk about sleep apnea. What is sleep apnea? Again, for my veterans who are out there, you guys know I'm the veterans doc. I do help veterans get their service connection. I do want all veterans to live a whole person healthy life, mind, body, spirit, and finances. And so if you are a veteran and you are not 100% service connected, I do really would like for you to reach out to us at Abundant C and P. It's across the bottom of the screen there, Abundant C and P. You can also reach out to us at abundantcandp.com. Sign up for a consultation so that we can help you to get to your maximum rating that we can get you. Hopefully, it's my goal to get all veterans to 100% service connection or as close to it as possible. So if you are not 100% service connected, please reach out to us, Abundant C&P. Follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our website, abundantcandp.com, where we can help you maximize your VA rating. So again, veterans, please understand that there's a difference between insomnia claims and sleep apnea claims. Though sleep apnea often has to do with why we are feeling tired and fatigued, and insomnia, they're two different claims. Okay, insomnia is considered a mental health condition. You can get 30% rating just for insomnia alone if you have a diagnosis and you're being treated for it, and we can link it back to something in service. But for sleep apnea, right now, you can get up to a 50% rating if you have been diagnosed. Let me say that, veterans, if you have not been diagnosed with sleep apnea, that's the first step. You must go speak with the symptoms, speak with your doctor about your symptoms, get a sleep study, all right? Have a clinical diagnosis, then be prescribed either an oral device to help open your mouth or a CPAP machine. And that's how you can get either your 50% rating, okay, for sleep apnea. I will say this too, veterans, they are in the process right now of, they want to lower down the ratings for sleep apnea, okay? I know it's unfortunate, but they want to lower it down to 30% rating from a 50% rating. Most people will get a 10% rating, and then if it's severe and untreated with ongoing symptoms in spite of treatment, then they want to bring it down to 30%. So if you have the diagnosis, let's look to getting it service connected sooner than later. All right, so please reach out to us at Abundant C&P. All right, so everybody else, because Dr. Nicole is all about explaining all medical conditions in terms that everybody can understand. What is sleep apnea? Sleep apnea is when your body stops breathing, okay, and you're not getting oxygen while you're sleeping, all right? So while we're asleep, we are still breathing, of course, okay, and oxygen still has to be exchanged from our lungs into our bloodstream, all right? What happens, though, is for whatever reasons, there's the different reasons, and I'll explain those in a moment. If we're not getting enough oxygen coming from our lungs into our bloodstream, then our blood vessels will constrict or get smaller. When the blood vessels constrict, it slows down the flow of blood, okay? So that the blood vessels or the blood cells have longer to kind of stay around in the lungs so that they can absorb more oxygen, okay? So what happens though when our blood vessels constrict and get smaller? Well, that can cause our heart to have to work harder to pump the blood, and when our heart has to work harder, it causes an increase in blood pressure. It can cause an increase in the pressure in our heart and the amount that our heart has to work, so that can lead to heart disease, all right? And that can also lead, when we have vasoconstriction or constriction of our blood vessels, it can also lead to headaches, okay? So this is why people who have sleep apnea often have high blood pressure. It's also why they have a higher risk of heart disease. And it's also why oftentimes they wake up with morning headaches. All right. So we've talked about, again, mental health conditions and how they impact our blood pressure, how they impact our headaches. All right. And so, again, sleep apnea can impact all of that. So, guys, if you have sleep apnea, you want to get it treated sooner than later because it can cause so many other issues. So, how do I know if I have sleep apnea, Doc? Well, most people think it has something to do with snoring at night. And although snoring is a large part of sleep apnea and it is one of the major symptoms, it is not the major symptom. You can snore at night and not have sleep apnea. Okay, so everyone who snores doesn't have sleep apnea, but most people who have sleep apnea do snore. Okay, so why? So what are the symptoms of sleep apnea? Well, one of the main ones is snoring, but it's also, have you ever heard people who snore and they do this? They go, right? And so they have that pause in the snoring or that pause in breathing. Now, when the sleep apnea is very severe, those pauses in the breathing, sometimes people say that it can seem like a lifetime while you're sitting there and you're waiting, like you want to shake that person and be like, hey, wake up, you need to start breathing again, right? It's the pause in breathing that actually signifies the apnea. All right, it's that pause in breathing that we call moments of apnea. Apnea is meaning you are not breathing. Okay, that's why it's sleep apnea. You stop breathing while you're sleeping. All right, so if you are noticing your loved one stopping breathing, okay, if they're waking up gasping or choking, all right, if they're waking up constantly with morning headaches, if they're waking up and they're not feeling rested, if they're waking up with morning headaches, if you are feeling, those are the signs and symptoms usually that other people will tell people, okay, something must be wrong, all right? And I want people to understand that though this might seem to be normal, it is not, okay? This is not normal. And if you see your loved one having these, or if you see your friends having these, or if your college roommate is having these symptoms, or if your battle buddy, somebody who you're deployed with, all right, somebody who you're stationed with is having these symptoms, they need to go get help sooner than later, all right? Because this can lead to, like I said, high blood pressure, increased work on the heart, decreased oxygen flowing. It can lead to other problems as well, all right? So if you find that you are having sleepiness during the day, you are always tired, it feels like you just can't get enough sleep, you're falling asleep, you're nodding off while you're asleep, or during the day, if you're sitting idle and you're falling asleep, if you're driving at a stoplight and you're falling asleep, if you can barely keep your eyes open during the day, all right, even though you slept all night, then these could be signs that you might have sleep apnea. We call it hypersomnolence or daytime hypersomnolence, all right? It's where you feel tired all day. Sometimes if you're not getting enough sleep at night, or if you have interrupted sleep patterns at night, then this can be also leading to the sleep apnea. How, Doc? How can my interrupted sleep lead to sleep apnea? Well, thanks. I'm glad you asked. There actually is a link that we're finding. People who are waking up multiple times to use the bathroom, waking up multiple times because of nightmares, people who are waking up multiple times because of ringing in your ears, because of chronic pain, all right, all of these things that we know a lot of veterans are service connected for, this can lead to sleep apnea. How, Doc? Well, I won't give you all my secrets because this is what I do for veterans, is provide this link so that if they are service connected for these other problems or conditions, they can get sleep apnea as a condition. But please know that there is an axis that is dysregulated in the body. Okay, it's called the HPA axis. And when the HPA axis is dysregulated, or you have problems with your HPA axis, it can lead to relaxation of airways, of tissues in the airways. When those tissues collapse, it leads to decreased oxygen flowing. Okay, and so when this happens, this can lead to sleep apnea. So there is a link, veterans, between interrupted sleep, nightmares, all of these things, and sleep apnea. So if you have any of these things, then you need to reach out, get, like I said, diagnosed with the sleep apnea, and we can help get you service connected. So what can you do if you have these symptoms? Well, first thing you're going to do is you'll speak with your doctor about, I'm feeling tired throughout the day, I'm not feeling rested, I'm not getting good sleep, I'm tossing and turning all night long. My spouse or my friends are telling me that I'm stopping breathing at night. I'm waking up gasping and choking. What are they going to do? They're going to do what's called an Epworth Sleepiness Scale. It's called an ESS. And they're going to start with that, and you're going to fill out a questionnaire. If you rate so high on the questionnaire, this means it's a more likelihood that you have sleep apnea. Then they're going to order a sleep study. Now, here's the thing about sleep studies. I have lots of veterans who go get a sleep study, and some of them, they don't sleep long enough for the sleep apnea to trigger or to get a high enough score on the sleep study to say that they have sleep apnea. Well, you got to sleep in order to get, in order for the test to trigger that you have sleep apnea. So if you're not sleeping more than the 3 hours on the test, well, then you probably need to do another test, because it's not going to be an adequate test. All right. So I have lots of veterans who say, well, I took this test and it said I didn't have sleep apnea, but they've got the classic signs and symptoms. They score like an 18 on the ESS scale. You've got sleep apnea. You just didn't sleep long enough because you were having too many nightmares and too much restless sleep, or you had too much pain, too much tinnitus, too much ringing in your ears for you to get enough sleep to even register on the sleep study. All right. So once you have the sleep study, if you reach a high enough what they call AHI or an RDI, that's a respiratory disturbance index, or a apnea hypopnea index. That's how many times you actually stop breathing. If you reach a high enough level, then you'll be diagnosed with sleep apnea. Then your doctor will prescribe you, usually it's a CPAP machine. A CPAP machine is a mask that you can wear. There's different types of masks. There's ones that just go in your nose. There's ones that go over your whole mouth and nose. There's ones that can just go in your mouth. So depending on what, they usually start with the mask type though, okay? And what this does is it helps to force air into your airway, okay? And so that it keeps your airway open so that you can exchange the oxygen while you're sleeping. Some people though can't tolerate the mask on their face or the mask in their nose, okay? So they have to get an oral device where it basically holds their jaw forward or their mouth open so that they can actually get more airway, get more air and oxygen into their lungs, all right? And so if you, like I said, need a device, then that would qualify you for a 50% rating, okay, for service connection. And this can help, like I said, pass more oxygen in so that your vessels can open up. It can help to lower your blood vessels. A lot of times, if I see somebody who comes in my office, I've got them on 3 or 4 different blood pressure medications. I can't figure out why they are refractory to treatment, right? They're not getting better with treatment. I'm looking at one of two things. I'm either looking at the blood flow in their kidneys, or I'm looking at, do they have sleep apnea, okay? Because even though I'm treating it, something in their body is still causing them, their blood vessels to constrict and their blood pressures to go up, all right? So a lot of times that has to do with sleep apnea. So again, if you have sleep apnea, you're not getting good sleep, and we talked about last week, how can insomnia trigger mental health conditions? Well, because most people, if you're not sleeping well, that can lead to some depression, all right? That can lead to some anxiety, all right? And then it becomes a vicious cycle. The anxiety and the depression impair your sleep, and the impaired sleep just cause more anxiety and depression, all right? So if you guys are having trouble sleeping, you need to go and talk with your doctor. That is always Dr. Nicole's main thing. Please go and speak with your doctor, all right? Speak with your doctor. We can get you diagnosed if you do have it. Now, I can also let you know that if you are having trouble getting a sleep study ordered through your doctor, maybe your doctor, you don't feel like your doctor is listening to you or hearing your symptoms, or maybe you're going to your doctor with a list of 25 things and they can't get to everything, okay? So maybe you should just go about that one thing. But if your doctor is not ordering that sleep study for you, now there are companies where you can order a home sleep study on your own, right? Companies like Lofta and Singular, you can order your own home sleep study. They'll mail all the things out to you. You hook yourself up, you go to sleep, all right? You mail the stuff back in, and within 72 to 96 hours, they will read your sleep study and they can give you a diagnosis, okay? So you don't always have to go through your doctor, although going through your doctor is the best way, all right? But if for some reason maybe you don't have a doctor, or you don't feel like your doctor is listening to you, or they're not able to order it for you, maybe your insurance is acting kind of wonky, you can order a home sleep study, and they are affordable, all right? They are affordable so that you can get diagnosis, all right? So again, the main thing, in order to know we have a problem and know how to treat the problem, we have to know what the problem is. So if you're having any of these symptoms, all right, problems sleeping, problems with daytime, feeling tired, if you're having waking up gasping, choking, someone's telling you you're stopping breathing, loud snoring, restless legs at night, you're tossing and turning, you're not getting good sleep, please go and get evaluated for sleep apnea. All right, and we do know that there is a link between mental health conditions such as insomnia, depression, anxiety, PTSD, all right, and sleep apnea. So thank you guys again for joining me for Talk with the Doc today. Again, this is Dr. Nicole Edwards, your board certified family medicine physician. I help all veterans and busy professionals to live a whole person healthy life that's mind, body, spirit, and finances, so that they can have a greater impact on the world around them. Thank you guys for joining me for Talk with the Doc, our weekly show where we take medical conditions and explain them in everyday terms that everyday people can understand. Again, we'd like to give honor to all of our veterans who gave their lives in battle on this Memorial Day weekend. All right, all gave some, but some gave all, and these are the folks that we remember on Memorial Day. I do also have to let you know that Talk with the Doc is being sponsored by Abundantly Natural. Abundantly Natural is an all natural vitamin and supplement line, and we do have vitamins and supplements available to help you with sleep. Things like our sleep bundle. So our Abundantly Natural Sleep Bundle, it has things in it like fish oil, Tranquility, which is a great supplement to help calm you down. It's got some probiotics in it because we got to get our gut right, because we talked about how our gut impacts our sleep. We've also got things like Sleep Max, which is melatonin. We've got a 3 milligram melatonin, and then the maximum dose, which is a 20 milligram melatonin. And we also always talk about our pain support bundle, which is on sale for the month of May. And these are all the things that help to fight inflammation and pain, like our abundant pain support. All right, so again, thank you guys for joining me today for Talk with the Doc, being sponsored by Abundantly Natural. We thank you all for joining us. Please click like, share, and follow us on our YouTube page and on all social media platforms so that you can be aware of when we're offering deals and when we're offering more information on how you can live a whole person healthy life, and veterans, how you can become service connected and get to your 100% permanent and total. All right, thank you guys so much again for joining me for Talk with the Doc today. On this Memorial Day weekend, we thank you again, families who lost any veterans in battle, and we give honor and homage to all veterans who did lose their lives in battle. We thank you for that ultimate sacrifice. We join us again for next week for our next episode of Talk with the Doc, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. Thank you again. This is Dr. Nicole, wishing you all a happy, safe, and enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.